Previously on the Crenshaw Corner.
Sanchez could have cooked at home because that's what he does. He cooks really well.
Notice how she said, I could have done it, family. You're not going to touch on that, though.
He could have cooked at home, right? So we didn't want to do that either. So I was like, baby. Now, when I brought this to his attention, he was devastated because Sanchez is an overachiever in every walk of his life.
I'm not an overachiever.
Yes, he's an overachiever in every walk of his life.
That's what you want to say about me.
Right. So therefore, always have to tone him down on every situation, y'all. I got to tone him down. Baby, tone down. Tone down.
I love you, and I just want to express my love to you.
I love you too. I love you too. So what happened this time, I said to him, baby, we only can spend $23.
Yep, $23 is what she said.
23 years anniversary, $23. First of all, he thought it was a joke. He was like, what? $22?
My wife said, we can spend $1 a year. That's what my wife said.
That's what our marriage is. $1 a year, y'all. $1 a year. $1 a year.
Well, for $1 a year, you can feed a family.
You can feed the Crenshaws. So, and I said, and you have to show the receipts because I...
Well, hello there, family.
Hi, guys.
I didn't see you there. And welcome back to another edition of the Crenshaw Corner. I am your host, Sanchez Crenshaw, and as always, I am joined by the absolute best part of my day.
Who, me?
The apple of my eye.
The apple.
The wind beneath my wings. The rib that completes me.
Completed. He's completed, y'all.
The Lady J to my Flint.
I don't know these people.
Real American heroes.
Who?
They fight for freedom wherever there's trouble.
G.I. Joe?
G.I. Joe. It's G.I. Joe.
Oh, I thought I had to say something else. Like I thought you were looking for like episode 75.
No, it's literally G.I. Joe.
Okay, who these people?
Flint and Lady J.
Mm-hmm.
So Flint was, for those who truly watched and followed G.I. Joe. Okay. So there was a kind of a figurehead leader of G.I. Joe's, which was Duke.
Right.
He was the all-American guy, the blonde, blue-eyed, Midwestern guy.
Captain America.
Kind of the Captain America type person.
Uh-huh.
But then there was the unofficial real leader of G.I. Joe, which was Flint. Flint was the rough, gruff, no nonsense, level-headed. He was the real leader. He was like the field leader, yeah. And then his girl was Lady J, who would stab you with a javelin.
She's nice.
She is.
She's nice. I like
she
her.
Was. I
don't even know who she is, but I feel good about her.
Nah, I'm wrong in this, but I don't think she was from Brooklyn, but she gives you that Brooklyn vibe.
She was my sister.
Yeah, like she was strong, didn't care what she said, would hurt you if she needed to. Lady J.
Lady Angela.
There you go.
No, I do care what I say now. I've grown. I've grown.
Not really.
I've grown. No, I've grown, baby.
No, you have grown.
I have grown.
That you have.
And I do care what I say now.
No, but okay.
No.
You may care what you say to other people, but you don't really care what you say out your mouth to me.
But I do, though.
Do you really?
But I do.
Do you?
I love you so much.
Is that why you call me a jerk every chance you get?
Nope. That's not why.
Oh, okay.
Nope. I'm loving you today. I love you so much.
You gonna tell the people your official your name?
Sorry. What's going on, guys? What is going on, guys? I am Angela. Angela Crenshaw, guys. What is going on, family? What
that is my wife.
Going on? How y'all doing?
So, family, we welcome you.
What's up?
For our first time listeners,
man, listen.
Welcome. We're so happy to have you.
Hi, guys.
For our returning listeners,
yes.
You already know how we feel.
Yes.
We are so thankful that you're here. What happened? What happened?
Crenshaw.
What about it?
We are the worst.
Why? What happened? What's the matter?
As you were talking, I just realized that.
What happened?
So we celebrated Valentine's Day.
We did.
We celebrated our anniversary.
We did.
But we did not celebrate what?
Our podcast anniversary.
Holy heck.
We didn't.
Is it 3 years? Was it 2 years?
Established, and this is 3.
This is 3 years.
Hold on. Is it 3?
Wait.
Or is it 2?
Wait, y'all.
No, our first podcast released 2001.
We gotta check, y'all. This is horrible.
We should. I definitely should know this.
This is super horrible. As you were talking, I was like, wait a minute, because our anniversary is also our podcast anniversary
Yeah.
as well. Oh my goodness, Sanchez! I guess because we've been just doing it, and love doing it.
Yeah, we just been doing it and releasing.
Doing it and doing it and do. Okay, no,
we don't own the rights to that.
No, we don't own the rights to that.
I'm not getting sued by Mr. Smith, so you're gonna
Sorry,
cut that
Mr.
out.
Smith. Sorry, Mr. Smith. No, babe.
No, hold on, I'm gonna tell you.
Holy world! How did we forget that?
That's because we got life. Life be life.
Life be life, but listen.
Life be life.
I have a girlfriend, and I said life be life, and she sent me a message the other day. She said life be life, but God be God. And I said, come on now.
There you go. I like that.
Come on, sis.
I like that. So
come on.
So family. So
wow.
We thank you. We thank you for listening. However you're listening.
However you found us.
Whether it's on iTunes, whether it's Podbean, whether it's Spotify, whether it's Apple Music,
iHeartRadio. Come on now, Mr. Crenshaw.
Whether it's Google Podcasts,
come on now.
or on our own personal website at www.thecrenshawcorner.com. We thank you so much for listening.
Yes.
Also, we consider ourselves an interactive podcast.
Because we are.
Which means we can be found on the socials. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We're on TikTok. We're on YouTube. All under The Crenshaw Corner.
Yes.
And, of course, you can email us at any time at thecrenshawcorner@gmail.com.
Now, for our family members who's been rocking with us this long, I feel like y'all in the background going, do we need to tell y'all when y'all saw this podcast? Do we need to? It's 3 years.
It's been 3 years.
Guys, it is 3 years.
Which is crazy. Yeah.
We've been doing this podcast for 3 years. We have been on this microphone for 3 years.
Our first episode, we released our first episode on February 7th, 2020.
My good, and I thought it was 3 years because I knew it was during the pandemic, so we didn't kill each other.
Yeah.
So, oh my God, guys,
we've been doing this.
Happy anniversary, baby!
And happy anniversary, baby! And we've had family members, faithful family members, for this 3-year journey.
Thank you guys so much.
But when you think about it for just a moment, that's crazy. We've been doing this for 3 years.
How do we find this much to talk about?
Let's just say use a talker.
As a talker.
Use a talker. You enjoy talking.
I do, and I do, and I do, and I do, and I think too, because we have so many people throwing questions at us as if we're therapists. We're not therapists.
I just play one on the radio.
We just giving a perspective.
Yeah, this is just
listen.
The purpose of this podcast is about perspective.
Yes.
We are not perfect.
No.
But we have experienced some things in life.
Yes.
We have been on some journeys individually and corporately.
Yes.
That's led us to where we are.
Yes.
And the beautiful part about going through something, it's learning from it.
Yeah. We don't lose, we learn.
Yeah. So everything you do, the beautiful thing is that no matter, and once again, that was a change of perspective for me, just talking from personally for me, is that the more you learn, that as you go through a struggle, as you go through a challenge, as you go through just something in life that was not planned, and the more you learn from it, the better equipped you are to handle the next thing
that comes your way. Yeah,
so,
doesn't mean it's not going to be hard.
No.
But there's you have your footing in a space that says we can do this again. We can get through this.
Yeah.
We can get through this. It's not going to be easy. We're not saying that it's hard, but you do have some foundation and some footing. And we have great people and great friends have come to us and talked to us about different stuff that we've made our topic. Like last week. Last Wednesday when we talked about the fact of the matter about for the children and
staying together for the kids.
If you
for
guys,
the sake of the kids.
If you have not listened to that, please do listen to that. Go back and listen to it too, because that was powerful.
Yeah, episode entitled "For the Sake of the Kids."
Yeah, for the sake of the kids. And after it was over, I asked a few people about it, and they had flowery verbiage. I said, "What do you think about staying?" The verbiage was the flowery.
Was it flowery?
It was flowery. There was a lot of H's in there and stuff, and so and a lot of devil is the liar. But you know what I'm saying. So just go back and listen, and again, just remind yourself that this is coming from the children's perspective, not the parents' perspective of what they feel. So. We just love you guys. Thank you so much. I cannot believe that we totally let that pass us by.
Yeah, and if you know what, and if we having an honest conversation,
don't we always have honest conversation?
Well, I'll be watching you sometimes.
It's me. Okay, cool. It's me.
I think like a lot of people in life, certain situations you're in, you take for granted sometimes. And I think we took it for granted. I think we took the fact that not only have we been doing this for 3 years, not only has God blessed us with content for 3 years and fresh perspective for 3 years, but also we've been blessed with consistent listeners for 3 years. We have consistent family members who've been on this. And when we say family members, for the first timers or someone who's not truly familiar with what we do and who we are, anyone that listens to the Crenshaw Corner, we consider family. So whether this is your second time listening or you've listened to all 200 some odd episodes, we consider you family. So whenever we say family, we're not just talking about blood biological. We're talking about the people in our circle and people who have invested in this idea of the Crenshaw Corner. So, and I think we took for granted that for 3 years we've had consistent listeners, to the point if we don't release an episode, we get emails, we get DMs, we get phone calls like, hey,
where are you? What's
where
your
you
problem?
guys? What's going on? Is everything okay?
Right, exactly.
So, and I think we took that for granted. It was like, where, the statistically most podcasts, I think it was 10 episodes. Like they don't really get past 10 episodes. And the fact that we've been 200 some odd episodes strong, 3 years going into our 4th year doing this.
Wow.
It's like, it's amazing.
Yeah. And we're not into the numbers game. So we're really not into, sometimes we'll put it out of who's listening, where they're listening from and what they're doing. But other than that, we're not into the numbers game. We just really want to just give good content and have real conversations from our perspective and what we see and what our friends see and family members and people that listen to us. They have a thought and they be like, hey, guys, what do you think about this? And we're like, okay, we'll try it. Like this one today. Like we'll try it.
I honestly have no idea what we're talking about. But and also we want to open up dialogue. Not only just between us and family, but within your guys' family. Within your circles. Open up dialogue and open up those we always talk about those hard, uncomfortable conversations. And it's not the conversation, not to be mean, not to be malicious, not to be revengeful, but just to open up those dialogue and have the conversations that a lot of people don't like having. Like early in relationship, having the conversation of, do you want kids? Do you not want kids? If you want kids, what is your parenting style?
Do you have a parenting style?
Do you have a parenting style? What is your viewpoint on discipline? Do you believe in spanking your child, or do you believe in timeout? Do you believe in negotiating with the child, or do you believe that your word is law and nothing else matters?
And that's it.
How do you feel about money? What is your relationship with money? What is your relationship with your parents?
My goodness.
And those are the conversations. We like having the cute conversations. What is your favorite color? What do you like to eat? Where do you like to vacation? We like having those surface conversations. But we don't like having those real uncomfortable conversations. What is your credit score? What do you think about credit?
How you handling your money, player?
Do you pay your bills
On time?
And this is a conversation that goes both ways. This is not just a conversation for a woman to have with a man, but this is a conversation for a man to have with a woman as well.
Exactly.
Do you believe in paying your bills on time? Do you even believe in paying bills? How do you feel about credit cards? Do you believe in credit card debt? And these are the conversations that most people don't have. And then they're 10, 15 years into a relationship and then wondering, hey, what's going on? Why are things not working out properly? It's because some basic conversations we didn't have in the beginning. So that's the purpose of the Crenshaw Corner. It's to, have those conversations, open up dialogue, open up different thought processes, take it from there.
The gist of it is, guys, welcome to the family meeting. Basically, it's a family meeting.
It's a family meeting.
It's every time you catch us on, we having a family meeting. We having a family meeting, and we need to just discuss some stuff, family, to make sure that we're on track and to make sure that the Crenshaws are on track. That's why I love the family members, because when we're out of order, they call us to the carpet. Like, let's talk about this.
They love us enough to reel us back in. So I'm super excited. So, oh my gosh, happy anniversary again, Happy 3 years, baby.
Again, thank you for our new listeners. Thank you for the ones that have stuck by us. Either way, we love you guys so very much, and we appreciate you. We do not take it for granted that you could be doing something else, but you decided to kick it with us. Kick it is so old school.
You kind of aged yourself. You kind of dated yourself.
Well, I'm cute no matter the age. I'm cute no matter the age group. No matter the age group. But here's the thing: it's a new year.
It is a new year.
And so people are exercising and working out, and people are eating right.
At least for another week.
Going to work on time.
At least for another week.
Changing their perspective, reading just a little bit more and all that stuff, right?
That stuff.
So my circle of wonderful people, women that I'm around, had some discussions, and I had this thought, so I brought it to them.
Okay.
And then from them, I brought it to their spouses, and from their spouses, I guess it was a so on kind of thing. But one of the things that I realized for the new year, and I keep hearing over and over again, whether it be on social media, whenever couples are talking in any meeting setting, it seems like the thing is that sex and finances are the two hardest topics to talk about. Like, they're topics that do not get deeply discussed.
Talking about them real hard conversations.
Real hard conversations, right? And the thing was, I was trying to figure out from them, why is it such a hard topic? Why is it so don't want to discuss it, right? And I got
kind of a taboo.
Yeah, I got so much feedback from that. But I was like, just why is that? And especially if you're in the 50-50 club, right? If you're in the 50-50 club? If you're over 50.
Oh, okay.
If you're over 50, even if you're in your 40s going towards your 50s, let's just say 40 going on, it becomes an even tougher conversation because lifestyle has changed. Your children may have gotten older. You may have seasoned parents. Your libido may have changed. Your hormones have changed. Your work schedule has changed. Your structure, everything has changed when you start going up there, and it makes it difficult for couples to really talk about it. And so when you hear that, and again, you guys can go look it up. I didn't make this up, guys. You can, y'all like Google. As TikTok said, go ahead to Keith Lee internet, please, and check it out. That's what they call it now, Keith Lee's internet. That's what they call it on TikTok. I love Keith Lee. But anyway, so what's your thoughts on that? Do you believe that those are the two hardest topics to talk about for a couple?
Well, considering that finances is one of the top reasons why marriages don't work out, I do believe that sex and finances are two of the most difficult conversations to have with someone. I think because once again, speaking from my perspective, I think let's start on sex for a moment.
Okay.
I think that particular conversation is hard. Because a lot of the times we don't want to have it because we don't want to come off and sound selfish. And then also we don't want to come off sound weird. Because if we have an honest conversation, sometimes it's not the lack of sex. Sometimes it's the variety of it.
Okay.
Sometimes, most couples, they're only doing one or two positions. If we're having an honest conversation, they're only
have one or two positions,
and it's the same one or two positions, and it's like clockwork. And
one you were doing, you were 18 years old.
Yeah, and you can map it out. We'll start here. After a few minutes, she'll adjust here. After a few minutes, I'll adjust here.
And then we're there.
And then we're there.
Okay, got it. Okay.
And I think sometimes we want to have those conversations of, I want to try something new. I want to try something different. I want to try this. But then you become scared with the other person. Okay, well, how do you know this? And where did you see this? And who are you doing this with? And then it opens up a whole different dynamic.
Like you learned this from somebody new, so now you're trying to bring it to this house.
Yeah, like you learn, like what have you been watching, or what have you been doing, or who you been talking to, or who you been with, and then it takes it to this whole different dynamic when it's, nah, babe, I just wanted to be be
It was on your bucket list.
Yeah, it was on my bucket list.
So you finally decided to ask about it.
And then it becomes, at that point, it becomes an uncomfortable conversation because at that point now it's adversarial.
Okay.
And now you're uncomfortable, they're mad. It's like, the hell with it. I wish I never would have brought it up.
Yeah.
And then
these two positions are great.
Yeah, we'll just stick with these one or two positions and we'll just move on with our life.
Listen, I get it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some of the perspective from the answers that I received, right? And since we're staying on sex, and one of the things that someone said, which was so good, I was like, come on. I wish I could say his name, but I'm going to leave it there.
We ain't calling nobody out.
We ain't calling nobody out. But
we didn't get permission for that.
He said it's kind of hard to do that because if the intimacy is not good between you, whose fault is it? And do you want to have that? Because then you're going to play now you're going to play the blame game.
Yeah.
Ooh, I said, come on, you done did. I put a star next to that because that is true. If it's not good between you guys, who fault? Because as humans, we want to blame somebody for our shortcomings. It can't be our fault, right? So we want to blame somebody for our shortcomings, right? So but again, and I think that person said that's the reason why don't want to have that conversation, because if she say, hey babe, if I come to you and I'm like, babe, you know what? Yeah, this romantic area ain't working for me.
Yeah.
Right. Immediately,
you're gonna take that personal.
You're gonna take it personal. As if I said, babe, it's your fault that we're not doing well in that area. So that's another thing you got to be able to say. I believe that we're not doing good in this area. It got to be a whole bunch. You got to be so French when you talk about seriously. It's got to be a we, right? Because at that point the other person takes it personal, and now they be like, so what do you mean? So again, going back to what you said, so you've been liking it, now you don't like it now?
Yeah.
Okay, so since when?
So what changed?
So
who you like it now?
What you done, all these things, but again, I was like, who fault? I was like, wow.
I can see that. And then
wow.
To piggyback off that as well, you never want to purposely hurt your spouse's feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you feel like it's going to be a situation where the conversation may end up hurting their feelings, then typically we're not going to venture down that conversation, because regardless of what's going on, most married couples don't intentionally want to hurt one another.
Right, exactly.
It happens because we're humans.
Yeah.
We're flawed. We're broken. Sometimes
it's just what it is.
It's just what it is. We attack when we shouldn't sometimes. Right. We're defensive when we shouldn't be sometimes. Right. So things happen.
Right.
But I don't think on a day-to-day basis.
You just wake up there.
Just waking up. You know, today I'm just going to hurt her feelings today. I'm going to say something that's just going to, let me figure out what I can say or do.
And of course we know there's sometimes where there's some people who are, but that's not who we talking about.
That's not who we talking about.
Thank you.
That's why I said for most.
Also too, when you do that, but you have to find a way. So you do your whole marriage being unsatisfied. You know what I'm saying? So so you have to find that, like I said about that we part, that middle ground, because my whole life I just want to be sexually unsatisfied. Who living like that?
But here's the thing with that though as well. You to be able to have those conversations, you have to have already either have done it or working towards it, setting a foundation of communication and a safe place.
Yeah.
You have to be able to, it can't be a situation where you've never created a safe place for you and your spouse to have hard conversations or difficult conversations. Yeah. And then this be the one that you come out with.
At all. Now this, you want to come out with, you coming out hardcore. You coming out with this one.
This right. And so for analogy, so you want to build a fire. So you don't start with matches. You just go straight to the blowtorch.
Just blow the whole thing up.
Yeah, so you got to start with the matches first.
Yeah.
So you have to had already or are working towards having that understanding that we're building a safe place together. Yeah. And that goes back to, like you said, being French, that we're building a safe place together. That we both can come and have these hard conversations.
Real hard conversations.
So and for whatever reason, and here's the thing, the length of your marriage doesn't determine whether or not you have built that.
It does not.
Because there are some couples, they've been together for less than a year.
And they got that thing.
They understood the assignment from the beginning.
They started early in the game before they even got married. They understood the assignment. And they created that place. Yeah. And then there's some couples, they've been together for 14 decades. But their communication, they love each other. They're working together. Yeah. But their communication foundation was never really set properly. Right. So your age and how long you've been married doesn't matter when it comes to that. Exactly.
Are you working towards and have you built it? So I think that particular conversation becomes easier when you set that foundation. Yeah. And the other person knows, I'm not attacking you. Yeah. I'm not saying that your sex is trash.
I'm saying our sex is trash.
I'm saying collectively
we trash.
As a unit, we can do better.
We can do better. We could do better in that area. Yeah. Now here's the thing that's on this. I was in Walmart. I love Walmart.
Oh Lord, Wally World.
Yeah, I was in Wally World. And so this young lady, I seen her and she was like, "Hey, Miss Angela." I was like, "Hey," and we were talking about something totally different. And I was like, Actually, it was when I was shopping for the $23 anniversary gift.
Oh yeah.
And so me and her were talking or whatever the case is, and she was like, "Oh my God, 23 years! What give me some hints, honey. Tell me how you do that, because I'm not that far, whatever the case is." And one thing that I said to her, which was we were talking about something totally talking about marriage or whatever, and she asked me a question. I can't remember what it was, but what I said to her is, make sure that you give him a safe space to be vulnerable.
Right.
Because to win in this particular conversation, the other person and you have to feel safe to be vulnerable, to tell the truth.
Yeah.
Right? Not only tell the truth, but tell what you like and what you want. But it's not the easiest thing to do, because here's the thing. If you've been married a long time like we have, what I liked 10 years ago or what I maybe liked last year is not the exact same thing, right? Because my body has changed, my mind has changed, my process has changed, life has changed. All these things have changed. And so you sit there and you got to make sure that the person that you're talking to and that you love, that way before, like you said, you have advise them and they know that they do have a safe place to be vulnerable, to have that type of conversation. So for that one, I thought I read that, I was like, whose fault is it? Because no one wants to say it's their fault.
Yeah. No one wants to take the blame.
No one wants to take the blame for that. So to make it easy, let's just say we.
Yeah.
Let's just say we.
Because no one, and to kind of finish that thought off, no one wants to be, and once again, we're talking in general terms for most, no one wants to be the reason why the marriage is not working.
Yeah.
Whatever aspect of the marriage, whether it comes to sex, whether it comes to finance, whether it comes to communication, like I'm not going to say commitment, but intimacy, whatever. No one wants to be the reason why it's not working properly. So, and that's also, if you're the person that's initiating the conversation, you have to be mindful of how you, because there's always a right and wrong way. One of the things, I had a friend in high school. He was a wonderful person. Very boisterous, very over the top, great guy. I remember him to this day. I've been out of high school decades, a couple of different decades. But one thing he always say is, you can tell someone to go to hell and make them look forward to the trip. It all depends on how you say things.
That's how you say it.
And that verbiage has always stuck with me.
Yeah.
It's always been how you say things. So if you're the person that you feel that this conversation needs to be initiated, stop for a moment. Think, plan out this conversation.
Conversation out.
Choose your words very carefully, because you know your spouse better than anyone else. You know what will hurt them. Yeah. You know what will help them grow. Yeah. What will shut them down. Yeah. What will make them. You know everything. Yeah. So be very careful, and not saying don't have the conversation.
Right. I'm about to say you still have to have that conversation,
and not saying, as the youth of America like to say now, your truth. Speak your truth. But it's all in the way that you approach it. Yeah. That you approach your truth. Your truth. If that makes sense.
Absolutely. Another thing that so we're gonna get on money for a few.
Okay. Let's go back and forth.
Let's go up talking about money. One of the persons said the reason why it's so difficult to have that conversation about money, because there's no common way that we each individual was taught about money, right? So each person is coming in, even if you have the conversation, they're saying you're still coming from a different perspective of how you were taught to do money, right? And so there's no easy way to do it, because if you're a person who is a saver, then it can seem as if you're a controller of the money, right? Especially if you're the only one working or you make the most money, right? And so, and you're
the primary breadwinner.
Exactly. And even if you both work and you're saying I'm a saver, a saver, so it seems like there's some type of control right there. So they were saying that that's super hard to have that. Or if you are a spender, again, you feel controlled, because when it comes to money, there's always a play on control for some reason, right?
It really is.
And
there's always a power struggle.
There's a power struggle, exactly.
Yeah.
And so you look at that and you're like, if you're a spender and the person is a saver, so you're trying to control my money. I make my own money. This is what I do.
Or you're a spender, you're made to feel irresponsible.
Exactly.
For your spending habits.
Exactly.
No matter how you may research, no matter how you may do things, if you're a spender, if you're labeled a spender, for some reason people always think spending is synonymous with irresponsibility.
Mm-hmm.
When a lot of it, sometimes it's not. It's really not. But I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. So the conversation when they had that, when it was making that statement was, how do you really deal with that? Because for a few minutes, you both can be savers.
Right.
They got together. You're gonna be savers. I don't know why I can't say this word right now. That's savers, okay. And all that. But sooner or later, the real you
is gonna come out.
Right. And at this point, now the person who you've been saving with, trying to figure out what's going on with you, what happened in your life, like what's going on, because you didn't talk about the way you were raised when it came to spending money. Yeah. Right. And so how do you do that? Because I know for us, I'm a huge saver. I've always been a saver.
I'm a huge spender.
And you're a huge spender. Mm-hmm. But then I realized the background of it all, right? Mm-hmm. You were that way because why? I know I can say why I was the way I was, but why are you a huge spender?
Because I didn't have anything coming up.
Bingo.
I had the basic necessities. Mm-hmm. Now, when I say I didn't have anything, let me rephrase that.
For everybody be all up and on, the whole family.
Let me rephrase
everybody
that.
Calling.
I had the necessities and a couple of things that I wanted.
Okay.
Is what I had. Mm-hmm. So for the most part. So always had a roof over my head. Always ate. Lights were never out. Those basic necessities of life we had.
Right.
It wasn't a lot of
clothes on your back. Maybe not what you like.
Right. I had clothes. Not necessarily what I would have chosen for myself.
Right.
But I had clothes. I never went naked.
Right.
However, once I got to a certain stage in life, those things I had to do my own. Like any clothes I wanted, any shoes I wanted, deodorant. Basically, once I became old enough to work,
that was it.
Those became my responsibilities. So there was a lot of things in my younger years that I wanted to do that I did not have the ability to do. So once I started making my own money and making my own decisions on what I wanted, I got what I wanted.
That was it.
That was it because in my mind, I went without for so long of the things that I want, not the things I needed, but the things I wanted.
That you deserve it.
That I deserve. And so once I started making my own money and can make those decisions, at that point, it's like all bets are off.
Right.
Because, and we've talked about this before, I don't look at price tags.
You don't.
I don't really care about a price tag.
Right.
Because I already know what I'm spending in my mind before I walk into a store. I already know what I'm going and buying. So what I'm looking at price tag for.
Right.
Whatever the cost is, I'm willing to pay that cost for it. Which for us became an issue because that's not who you are. But we had to learn that there were some conversations that we had to have.
We had a lot of them, y'all.
A lot of them. And you started this, and that's what I love, because also at the end of the day, and we've had this conversation before, when it comes to a lot of different things in life, my wife and I are polar opposites.
We really are.
We are almost the true definition of yin and yang.
Hey, seriously.
Where I push, she pulls.
Yes.
Where I pull, she pushes. And
moon blue, not today. It's red for me.
So it was a lot of difficult, hard conversations. And one of the conversations we had to have, similar to what we're having now, is not only what is your thought of money, what is your relationship with money?
Because it's so important.
Because everyone has a relationship with money.
Whether they believe it or not.
Everyone has a relationship with money. And unfortunately, in our Western civilization, we're taught money is everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
So whether we want to believe it or not, we're taught money is everything. And so because of that, and kind of the push and pull, because we're also taught that money is power. So quote unquote, the more money you have,
the more power.
And who controls the money controls the power. And so we've got that totally screwed, and we've got that totally misunderstood. And so there's a lot of people out here saying, okay, well, I'm going to accumulate. I hold the purse, so I hold the power.
Right.
When that's not the case.
Exactly.
Especially not in a marriage. It has to be a partnership. We have to talk about this thing.
Yeah.
I need to know how you feel about this decision. Yeah. You need to know how I feel about this decision, and we need to make a decision.
Yeah, because a lot of times in the beginning of all of this, our conversations, our highly flowered conversations were more so.
Is that the word of the day, flowered?
Flowered conversations was me saying no and him saying, but why not? I work every day.
That hasn't really changed though.
I work.
Your favorite word is still no.
I work every day. Why can't I have it?
That's your default setting.
But the reason why he did not understand is because he gave me the books.
I didn't do the books.
He didn't do the books. And so he gave me the books and gave me the power of the books. And when I would try to get him to get involved in the books, y'all all know about the 15-minute financial meetings. That's how we got to the 15-minute financial meetings. Once he understood, I'm going to have to save for this one.
Well,
then he understood the process.
Hold on just for a quick second.
That took a minute.
So for our new family members, what my wife was referring to. So my wife is a numbers person. Mm-hmm. She loves numbers. She should have been an accountant.
Numbers
to be
and
honest
paper.
With you.
Numbers and paper.
So she loves numbers. She loves finances. She just whatever she can learn and get from it. She loves it. Mm-hmm. I'm not that person. I don't want to talk about finances all the time. I barely want to talk about finances, period. And so what would happen is that my wife would have what I call these impromptu financial meetings.
I was going to say that.
And it's like we're really not talking about anything. We're washing the dishes or watching television, and all of a sudden now she wants to have this hour-long financial meeting. I'm like, I'm not doing this. I'm not even in a mental state to do this right now. And then she would get upset with me.
Yeah, because I don't understand why he's not on the same page with me.
Right, because
this is for our life.
Yeah, that I didn't want to do this. And it was like, and at one point, she would do this like 3 or 4 times a week. Like just out the blue, we having these hour-long meetings. So I was like, okay, we need, and it became, it developed a lot of friction.
Yeah, it was a lot of friction.
A lot of friction in our marriage.
Over money, yeah.
So we had to have an honest conversation. It was she was like, okay, babe, you understand this is important to me. We have to do this. We have to have these meetings. I was like, okay, I get that. But these impromptu hour-long meetings is not going to work for me. So we got to the scheduled 15-minute meeting.
Baby, don't you do 16 minutes. He gone.
You lost me at 15 and a half.
His mind is gone.
15 and a half, I'm gone.
His mind done left the building.
Yeah. And I can do as many 15-minute scheduled meetings as you want to do as long as you schedule it with me first.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that worked for us. That may not work for everybody, but that worked for us.
Did it work for us?
And it became better. And then what happens is also my wife's favorite philosophy. Tell the family what your favorite philosophy of marriage is.
What? Whoever does it better do it.
Exactly. So with her, she just does it. It's not that I can't do it.
Because he can when
I just
forced.
don't want to. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I know when the bills are due. I know how to pay the bills. I know how to budget. I know how to do all that. Mm-hmm. It's just not my lane.
He doesn't like it.
It's not my lane. I don't like. Can I do it? Yes. Do I want to do it? No. She does it better. Plus, I trust. Even though, if I'm honest,
I'm embezzling, y'all.
She's embezzling from Crenshaw Corporation. So I'm just saying.
I'm not embezzling.
And maybe I shouldn't say that on the airwaves in case some feds are listening. But I'm just saying, she's embezzling. She's embezzling from the Crenshaw Corporation.
I'm not. But it was difficult to get here because, again, we were raised totally different. Yeah. I was raised with parents who were savers, saved jugs and jugs of change, save, which we do now.
We do.
We got 5 different change jugs
for different reasons.
Right? Yeah. We have, so it's just that I was just raised differently. They believed in just having money, having available. My dad has he called, people don't get offended. He would call what he called his Jewish bankroll, which is 100 singles. Mm-hmm. He never spent it. He never touched it, but he had to have it. He had to always know that it was available.
Just in case.
Just in case. He always had an emergency fund and all of these things. And so the reason why I believe that this is so important because, and just putting a little of my parents' business out there, my dad passed away, but I did not realize that my dad was the force behind all of that until he passed away.
Yeah.
And when he passed away, I realized that he was the force.
He was the driving force behind it.
He was the driving force because my mom, once it was over, she's a spender. She's a spender. She's a spender. And so, and we saw that big time when he passed away. Like, hey, why we got these 7 wigs? Over QVC late at night.
You really gonna put mommy business out the street?
Yeah, she'll kill me later. But we had to really think about that. And so there's always going to be one or the other, but they complement each other.
Yeah, they did.
And so for us, he had to know where I came from. I came from spending, not spending. I came from saving. I came from making sure I had a certain amount of money in the bank all the time and all of those things. And he was like, yeah, but
I came from living paycheck to paycheck. We never had money. So why am I thinking about money?
Yeah. He's like, what? Yeah. Why are we discussing it?
And that was another thing. We never, growing up in my home, kind of going back a little bit since we're talking about finances, we never discussed money.
Yeah.
That was never a time. Once again, we didn't have it. So what are we discussing? You can't talk about something you don't have.
Yeah.
So we didn't. So learning how to save, learning how to invest, learning how to budget, in my home growing up, it was, I got this amount of money. I got more bills than money.
Right.
So I got to figure out the little bit of money I have, who it needs to go to.
Pay Peter to pay Paul.
Rob Peter to pay Paul. And then making a payment arrangement for the rest.
Yeah.
That was, even coming into our marriage, that was my first default. All right, let me just do a payment arrangement.
I was like, we don't do this. What in the holy
world? That's all I knew.
Right.
That's all I knew. So the fact that God has blessed us to the point, I don't even think.
Right.
That's not our life anymore.
Yeah. Thank you, Lord.
Yeah. But once again, it became that difficult conversation.
Yeah.
Because like most people, we were raised differently.
And when you're raised
because unless you done married your sister, you was raised different.
You was raised differently. Now, we didn't have a discussion. It is just what they did.
Right.
Like we went to Pathmark, and my parents would go food shopping with a list and a calculator, y'all. No, I'm so sick.
That was all Pop. I know that was Pop.
I'm like, why? And I can do it in my head now. I do it now, even in the store. I be like, two, because my dad was never one. If it was $2.59, it was $3.
Right.
If it was $2.12, it was $3. Because he was an accountant. So he knew how to run these numbers. And so I just watched as a younger and was like, oh, okay. Thinking to myself at first that, well, maybe because we broke, maybe because we don't, but they knew the number they was going to use regardless. It's $100. Make the $100 work.
Make it work.
So we got to calculate, because before we get to the register, if it's over, something's going to go bad, and so it was, I never saw them like have a discussion about money, but I saw them budget. I saw them like soon as one bill come in, it got to go out. It's got to go. I even saw my grandparents do that. Like there was never a bill that came in that didn't go out. Even when my parents, my dad, he always made every bill was American Express bill to him.
That was my grandfather.
The old school knew the deal. They knew the deal.
There was no such thing as the first of the month. I don't care when it's due. First of the month, everything got paid.
It got paid.
Everything was due the first of the month.
It was American Express.
It was American Express. Everything was due the first of the month.
Pay everything, not no part. Nope. All of it.
Everything.
Every single thing.
I don't care that Duke Power at that time. I don't care Duke Power said my bill is due on the 15th. Nope. First of the month is getting paid.
And this is the part. I don't know how we got here, but with a check and an envelope and a stamp.
Everything got mailed off. Everything got mailed off.
What mailing?
Sat down. Yep. Sat down. Write out the check. Put the envelope in.
Yep.
Drop it in the post
with
office.
The little payment slip.
Yep.
Go on about your business. Listen.
And do your register.
So a lot of things, and I'm saying this because I just want you to remember, they may not have said it to you, but they showed you. And that's how you know you're coming from two different perspectives, and how it can be to have that conversation and bring both perspectives. Because of Sanchez, I am able to loosen up.
Are you?
Yeah. Don't do that, baby.
I'm just okay.
I be loosening up.
It's news to me.
It's not.
You learn something new every day.
You know I loosen up.
Okay. You're not as quick to say no.
And I do spend money. I loosen up.
You're not as quick to say no. So now it's where, before I even got the question out, before I put the question mark on the end of the sentence, you were saying no.
But did not.
Now it's, you let me get the question out. You pause for about 30 seconds.
Don't do that.
And then you say no.
No, sir. These last 3 years have been the year of the Sanchez.
It has. I can't.
It's been, because he taught me to, because when you have those conversations with each other in reference to finance, even though they're hard, you may find a way to compromise, and you may find a way that works for both of you to kind of loosen up. And because with money, again, the reason why it's one of the top things for divorce is because it's a power struggle. Yeah. Again, we just said that earlier. It's a power struggle, and it should not be.
A lot of the times we'll use finances as a weapon.
Yeah, and it's not good. It's not good.
Also, it's just like with everything else, it's learning how to take her traditions, your traditions, and make your own.
Right.
And a lot of the times also, it's, people don't realize, well, people do realize, but they don't talk about it a lot, there are two forms of communication. There's direct communication and there's indirect communication. There's things that you straight tell a person, and then there's things that are implied and things that you see by their actions.
Right.
And what happens is a lot of times we don't have those conversations. Like when it comes to finances,
Right.
we don't have those conversations. All right, baby, when you were growing up, what did you learn directly from your parents when it came to finances, when it came to money? What conversations did you guys have?
Right.
On the flip side, what indirectly did you learn? Like with me, everything when it comes to finances, I didn't learn anything directly from my family when it came to finances because once again, we never talked about finances.
Right.
Everything I learned was indirectly from my family.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, 90% of what I learned indirectly from my family did not serve me well when it came to growing up, how I handle things.
Yeah.
Because I ended up putting myself in a lot of different bad positions financially that I never should have if the conversations were had.
Right.
And then that's what married couples do. Yeah. Because what happens a lot of the times with married couples, the reason they're having these battles or these disagreements or these arguments is because they've put themselves in bad situations financially because they did not have the conversations ahead of time to prevent it, and then that's when the power struggle comes in. Yeah. Because they didn't have the conversation, okay, we want kids, but who's going to stay home? Is anyone staying home? If they do stay home, what is that going to look like? Financially, what is that going to look like? Do you believe in daycare? Are we doing daycare? Do you want to be a stay-at-home mom? Do you want to be a stay-at-home dad? Because it works both ways.
And what does it absolutely look like?
And what does it look like? And then financially, if one of the spouses is stay at home, the person that's in the workforce, do you want that full responsibility of being the sole provider
of the family
financially? Because I think sometimes we don't say enough about that, the pressure and the stress that puts on the person.
Yeah, that one person.
Because I'm not trying to be funny, but we always want to say how hard it is for the person that stays home because they're dealing with the kids all day, and not just whether it's a male or a female, how difficult it is, because everybody's heard raising kids is the most hardest job in the world, blase, blase. Not to take anything away from child rearing, but we don't want to talk about a lot the stress that it puts on the person because now any move they make when it comes to finances affects the entire family. So they could be stuck in a job they don't want to be in, but it pays the bills that they need it to be. Maybe they want to do something different, but they're afraid to do it because I don't want to interrupt what the family's doing. So a lot of the times we don't talk about those stressors, and then that leads to the family falling apart because now they're stressed.
Yeah. Now, this is crazy that you're saying this because the next point that I have here that someone said was the thought process of not making enough money or running out of money or not being able to sustain the lifestyle that they had before. So that puts pressure on a person that's making the money, which is basically what you just said.
Yeah.
What you actually just said. And so you don't want to have the conversation because if your significant other, whether whoever, and you both could be working, says to you, we don't make enough money, right? Like we can't pay the bills. The other person's going to feel like, okay, I'm not making enough money.
I'm not enough.
Because
that's what they hear.
I'm not doing enough. I don't make enough. Yeah. And it makes them feel very insecure about that too. So it's like me going to say, hey, babe, listen, we got to do something because we ain't making, we always in the hole every single month.
Yeah.
What you heard was, even though we're both working,
I'm not enough.
You're not doing enough.
I'm not doing enough.
You don't make enough.
Yeah, I don't make enough.
You don't make enough. You're not doing enough.
That's all I heard.
Yeah, and so you don't want to have that conversation either or the person who's making the less money, right? If we're not making it, that means not the person who's making the most money, but you need a second. I feel like, let me go find another job. I dropped my pen.
You did.
Let me go find another job. Let me go do something different. So it makes the other person feel like they're not making a significant
enough contribution
to the family, right? Yeah. And so that's why the conversation doesn't want to happen either, because you don't. And here's the thing that's so beautiful about love, that we so busy, and we say this all the time, you're so busy taking care of the other one that you're not taking care of them,
right?
Because you don't want to say to the person that we need to make more money, knowing they make much less than you do. So it makes them feel a certain type of way. You don't want to make them feel a certain type of way. So you prefer to just live paycheck to paycheck or stay in the red or the negative because you don't want to have that conversation. But that doesn't take care of each other. You're trying to take care of each other, but you're not really taking care of each other if you're in the hole every month or if you're not making it the way that you need to. So that's a conversation to have to say, I had a young lady ask me about finances before and talking about how much everybody was making. And I always say to her, well, if you're making $13 an hour and y'all making $26 an hour. That's what you're making, $26. She was like,
collectively together.
She was like, well, I said, y'all make $26 an hour. Can you live off $26 an hour? And tell me how. Right. And she was like, wait a minute. I never even thought about that. But that's the truth. Right. So you have to look at it in a different perspective. But we're so fearful to have those conversations because we don't want to be technically the bad guy or the guy that doesn't do enough. Put it like that doesn't have enough or do enough.
And that goes back to, once again, kind of what we touched on earlier, is that if you're the person that feels the need to initiate the conversation, you got to be careful.
Yeah.
And once again, we're not saying don't have it. We're not
Please
saying,
have it.
yeah, we're not saying, well, just keep it bottled up. And no. I'm not saying that at all, because the conversation has to be had. But once again, you have to have it in a way where your partner's not feeling attacked. You're not blaming, and you present it in a way. This is not you have to figure it out thing.
It's a we.
This is we need to figure it out. What can we do better? What can we do? What adjustments? And it starts with a hard conversation with yourself a lot of the times.
Yeah.
And that's another reason I think we don't want to have these type of conversation, whether it's sexual or finances, is because to initiate the conversation, you've had to have a conversation with yourself.
You had to really have thought about this thing.
And if you want to do it properly, you have to have a hard conversation with yourself first.
Yeah.
And figure out because we always want to talk about, it's a whole big thing now, bringing something to the table.
Right.
That's the question, well, what do you bring to the table? What are you bringing to the table? What we fail to realize with that, that's a negative and a positive. Because sometimes you're bringing positive things to the table. And sometimes you're putting your feet up on the table.
Yeah.
You bringing all kind of bad manners. So, and a lot of the times we don't want to have that, like with the sexual conversation.
Right.
I don't want to have a conversation with myself and be like, my sex is trash. Like, we're not, our sex life.
You're going to have to get one more move.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I gotta learn a new trick or something.
Right, exactly.
And maybe instead of stroking to the right, I stroke to the left.
Right. Something. Just something.
But nobody wants to sit down and have that honest conversation with like, well, it can't be me. It has to be them. Nah, this is a partnership. If it ain't right, you both contributing to it.
Exactly.
But a lot of times we don't want to have that conversation, so we don't want to have it with ourselves, so we don't have it with our partner.
Yeah, and it's scary. It's it's scary to look at self first of all. And,
very.
And it's also scary to know that, and this is the part that blows my mind, is to know that you've grown. Right?
Yeah.
You've been married 10 years. Y'all have grown.
Yeah.
Whatever you thought you were doing, that don't work no more.
At all.
You're going to have to try something else. You're going to have to do something else. You're going to have to think about something else. And that's sexually or financially. You have to make some changes. You have to do some things to bring you up to the level that you want to be at. And then another thing when it comes to finances is what level of financial do you want to be? Right?
Yeah, because everybody want to... Contrary to popular belief, millionaire. Everybody don't want to be rich.
They don't. They just don't. They want to be comfortable. And that's okay. And I think people need to understand, too, what we learned. Because when we first started out, we just want to be a millionaire. Get that money. Take our power back. You know that was when about 10, 12, 13 years ago. You know what we want right now? Freedom. You know what we want right now? Options.
That's all I want.
And you know what we want right now? Our time back.
Yeah. I want to
buy my time back.
I want enough money to buy my time back. I want enough money to have options.
Yeah.
Whatever that amount of money looks like. I want enough money to, if I don't feel like it, I ain't got to.
Period.
That's it.
Period. And so you got to, when it comes to that, you got to know your money your money number,
Yeah.
your financial money number as you get older. What do you need? And especially when you go into 40 and 50, what does your retirement money look like?
What does it look like?
And start now if you're 30 or 20. And start now.
Start now if you're 16.
Yeah, start now if that retirement money is right. Start now and have those. Thank you for saying that, because also have those conversations. Don't allow your children to have the conversation that we're having. Well, they never talked about money. They didn't show me. They didn't show me what to do with the money. No. Don't let them have that conversation.
Don't be embarrassed.
No.
Don't be, because a lot of the times what will happen too is that parents won't have these. The reason my family didn't have the conversation with me about money, because they were embarrassed. Because at that stage of their life, they thought they should be further along.
Yeah.
They thought they shouldn't be in the financial situations they were in.
Right.
So they were embarrassed.
Yeah.
And because they were embarrassed, they did not have the necessary conversations with me that they should have had.
The what not to do.
The what not to do.
And what to do if you
Right.
can. Yeah.
And if they don't know, let's learn this together.
Yeah.
Let's learn it together.
Yeah.
So I can be in a better situation, and so you will never have to be in a situation.
Exactly.
So, and I say that so for the parents who may not be financially where they want to be, do not be embarrassed.
No.
Still have the conversations with your kids. Whatever you've learned so far,
Give it to them.
teach them.
Teach them.
How else are they going to know?
Yeah.
Teach them. Help them learn, and then you guys learn together.
Yeah,
there is nothing wrong with a parent and a child learning something together.
Well, you do it already. If you helping them with that homework, that new math,
Yeah.
y'all learning together.
And school system, can you stop changing math every 3 years? Could you?
I'm just saying. And the same thing with the intimacy and the sexual aspect of it too. Write down maybe a sexual bucket list, maybe, or something that you want to try, or say, hey, babe, can we try something new together, and let's find it.
We're not talking about with the kids on this one.
Yeah, we done changed. I hope y'all saw the switch flip, y'all.
Yeah,
the switch flip.
Don't be sitting down with your kids doing the sexual bucket list. That's creepy. Don't do that.
But, even if it's just one thing, right? And just bring it to each other. It's like, hey, baby, let's bring one thing different that we can do intimately and see what we can come up with for fun, right?
Yeah.
And work it that way. But I'm telling you, when I was talking to everybody about it, it was like, it is just a hard, another thing they said to me too, and I think you said it too, no one wants to be the initiator.
No one wants to initiate these.
Somebody gonna have to not be the punk in the marriage, y'all. I'm sorry. In the relationship. Somebody gonna have to be the thug passion at this point.
Not the thug passion.
Somebody got to be thug passion at this point, and come on in and let's have this real conversation. You know what I'm saying? And again, most people are like, well, we always have this conversation. Revisit it, because I promise you, some things have changed. I promise you,
because
some things have changed. Because you've changed.
Yeah.
They've changed. Come on now.
First of all, nobody's the same as they were last year.
No, I know I'm not.
Yeah, you've had to learn something different, something changed, something you used to like, you didn't like. Your body's, like my wife said earlier, your body's changed.
Yes.
Now you're ticklish in the spot that you wasn't ticklish in before, because your body chemistry has changed.
Right.
So something has changed.
Something has changed.
And if you want your marriage to be long term and successful, you have to. There's a continual. Okay. I talked about this person before. There's an individual in my life. He is my cousin brother.
You crack me up with you and him.
Yeah. So Junior, Junior and we're pretty much twins. We were born exactly 30 days apart. So his birthday is November 27th. Mine is December 27th.
Same height, same build. Same
pretty much the same.
Same crazy, but anyway,
same crazy. At no point in our life have we ever lived in the same city. So much we've never lived in the same state in any of our lives. But
don't even have the same career.
Yeah, but there is no one. The only person that's as close to me on this earth is my wife. That's it. But the reason I say this is because him and I have been having one continual conversation.
I've never heard this thing about life.
All of our lives.
All the time.
We talk constantly, and sometimes we'll go 2-3 years without talking. And then there's spurts where we talk every day. But we've been it's never a new conversation.
It really isn't, y'all. He's not lying.
It is one continual conversation
never seen such about life.
that we've been having for over 40 years. And I say that to say, in a marriage, there has to be continual conversation. It's a continual thing that you're always your lines of communication are always open, and you're always having a conversation. The conversation doesn't stop. You're just bringing new topics into the conversation,
and you can't be always clutching your pearls, y'all.
Yeah, and
Lord.
and give them the freedom to just be honest, brutally honest. I had an old boss that his favorite line was, "Put your emotions in your pocket. Put your feelings in your pocket." Is actually what he used to say. Sometimes in a conversation with your spouse, you got to put your feelings in your pocket.
And that's hard.
And understand that even though they may be talking about you, it's not personal. It is their perspective, and they're telling you what they need from you.
Right.
Because the only way I can tell you what I need from you, I got to tell you that what you're presently doing may not be beneficial for me.
Exactly.
And it's not saying that you're a bad person.
Right.
It's not saying that you're not a good spouse. It's not saying that I don't love you. It's not saying that you don't love me. It's just saying in this particular area, this particular thing, you do 99 things right. But this one thing, it doesn't sit well with me.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I should have the freedom
and the safety
and the safety to say, "Hey, babe, I love you, but this thing, it's not working for me. Can we talk about it? Can we work? Can we figure out how we can change this? Because it's not working for me." And not a situation where I say, "Babe, when you do this," and then she comes back, well, when you do this, and then, but you did that, and then, well, I only do it because you.
We've been down that road.
Yeah, we've been there. And now an open and honest conversation got shut down, and now we're in a battle.
No resolve.
Because now, instead of me saying, "Well, babe, this is what I need from you," this is turning to me having to defend myself because everything is now an attack. Because we're so busy telling each other not what we need, but we're so busy telling each other what you've done. And anytime you approach any human being,
I don't care who you are,
with the concept of you done,
it's over. It's a wrap.
It's a wrap at that point.
It's a wrap. I think I want to just bring something across, what you was just talking about. So I have a doctor that, and I guess he's like a very famous, whatever doctor, whatever the case is. So no matter where I go, if I say his name or ask anybody's opinion, they go, "Surely, first of all, he's a great doctor. He's amazing." And so therefore, best in his field. So surely he asked you about this, or surely he did this, and surely he did this. And I'm looking at them like, I'm asking for a second opinion. I heard his, now I want yours, not from his perspective of what you think of him,
right?
But hear me and hear what I'm trying to say. And I finally found a doctor that said to me, he is a fantastic doctor, but he may not have been the doctor for you. And it changed my thought process with everything.
Right.
Like, yes, I am a good wife. I'm a fantastic wife, but this particular area may not be good for Sanchez, right? So you're a great wife, you're this, you're that, yeah, and I am. But if he says that just means in this particular area that I'm not good at in that particular area. And how do we fix that? How do we work through that? And when people have a deaf ear to stuff, when you have a deaf ear, because it seemed like everybody had a deaf ear to what I was saying, right? Could not hear me because he was so wonderful. He's so great. He's been doing it for this amount of years, and he's been da-da-da-da-da-da, and all these accolades and da-da-da. And I'm saying, okay. But we take it one individual at a time.
One individual at a time.
Right? So in your marriage, in your relationship, you're taking it one situation at a time. And so where I may be great in 99, that one I am not. That doesn't take away from my greatness. It just says in this particular situation, in my marriage, in my relationship, I need to work a little bit on this area.
Yeah.
But it doesn't take any of the 99 away from me, right? So we have to remember that we have to have these conversations. We have to have a second opinion. So the second opinion is when you go to your spouse and say, hey, we need to talk about this because we already had a first opinion and it's not working.
Right.
So now I'm going to the second opinion. Second opinion is what would work, babe? What could we do better? How can we do? Because now we're second opinioning each other, right? To see what will work in this particular situation, if that makes sense, right?
No, it makes perfect sense.
So yeah, so that's where I am with that. Yeah, I get it.
I think that's a good place to end.
I think it is.
I think it is. I like that analogy. I think that's a good place to end.
Thank you.
What's your final? Was that your final thought? Or you got a final thought for the family?
Baby, I don't think I can top that.
Nah, you can't top that. You can't top that at all.
I could try, but I know you will top it. But carry on.
No.
Come on,
I'm not gonna top it.
You always give me this. It's gonna be really something simple. It'd be
actually it is.
It'd be deeper than the river.
No. It's gonna be extremely simple.
See, here we go.
No, it is.
Okay, go, baby. I'm listening.
It's gonna be talk to people the way you want to be talked to. And it's really just that simple. And if you find this conversation hard to have with your spouse, whether it's the sexual conversation, whether it's the financial conversation, if you're the person that has to initiate the conversation, talk to people, talk to your spouse the way you want to be talked to.
Right.
Because I'm pretty sure you don't want to be accused. You don't want to be blamed. You don't want to be judged. You don't want to be yelled at. You don't want to be spoken to in a condescending manner. You don't want to be you don't want to be made to feel small.
Right.
You don't want to be made to feel like you're uneducated. There's so many things that in a conversation you don't want for yourself.
Right.
So when you approach this situation, when you have the conversation, talk to your spouse the way you want to be talked to.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, that conversation will go properly.
Yeah.
If you just simply talk the way you want to be talked to.
See, now you gave me a thought, babe.
What's up? What you got?
I'm just going to piggyback off of that. Also, you're not responsible for what they may say or how they may take that, right? Because 9 out of 10 they'll take it super well, but if they don't feel responsible, don't retreat.
You're not responsible for their response.
Exactly. Don't retreat. Hear what they have to say and not retreat like, you know what, forget it, we're not going to have this conversation, because that's what the enemy likes, to have you both divided.
That
confusion. So just be mindful of that too as well.
Beautiful. I think that's a good place to end it. I love you too, baby. You are amazing. I appreciate you. Happy all kind of anniversaries.
3 years, baby.
February is just love all the way around.
Love all the way around, y'all.
All the way around.
Yes.
Family, we thank you. We thank you for listening. We thank you for spending this time with us. However you're listening, whether it's on iTunes, whether it's Podbean, whether it's Spotify, whether it's Amazon Music, whether it's Google Podcasts, whether it's iHeartRadio, or on our own personal website at www.thecrenshawcorner.com. As always, we consider ourselves an interactive podcast, which means we can be found on the socials. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on TikTok, we're on YouTube, all under the Crenshaw Corner. And of course, you can email us at any time at thecrenshawcorner@gmail.com. Once again, thecrenshawcorner@gmail.com. And as always, family, welcome to our journey.
I love you guys. Bye.